Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. Last time we embarked on a pretty bold infrastructure project across southern Britannia, and we're now going to resume with that. I am a little tired, and my voice is a little worn out, so I do apologize about that. But I wanted to record an episode nonetheless, and I do have some coffee here to help me out. And as we start this episode, I do want to address the massive treasury I suddenly have and the lack of tax offices being built across my cities. This was a change I made between episodes, and one of those moments where I began to record. I did some permanent stuff, and then I kind of lost my energy, and I wasn't quite able to get it going correctly. So it's now lost to time. But this is a sort of thing where you can just hear me describe it, and that's basically just as good. I've decided to not build the tax offices. I'm going to proceed with the academies and the ports, as I talked about last episode. But instead of tax offices, I'm going to change the approach I'm taking towards my city infrastructure. And this is largely due to me looking on the wiki quite extensively between episodes as I thought about what am I doing here with these expensive building projects? Am I making the right calls for the long term? And the ultimate thing that I decided is the benefit of tax offices is substantial for a maybe a smaller and taller nation, if that kind of makes sense to you. Nations that have a much more concentrated urban population, that's where the tax rate really starts to play a big role. You know, your metagamed super city, I'm sure you've seen the screenshots or the videos of this with this game, or your city state like lifestyle. When you have dozens and dozens of freemen and slaves in city tiles and not in your settlement tiles, I've been pretty consistent throughout this series of decentralizing my slave economy across a large number of settlement tiles because of the commerce potential from all these different resources that slaves can create extra copies of. I am wasting all these 12 slaves here in Londinium just sitting around. Yes, they are producing something like 0.30 base tax. Yeah, there it is, 0.30 base tax. However, I could be producing point 50, point 70 in trade from just these slaves being moved over to a different location with a good trade good and whatnot, like I've done with Wectus. So ultimately, what I've realized is I need to take all the slave population that's been accumulating in my cities and in this episode start to really, over here as well, 10 slaves, like this is like an entire trade resource that is just sitting here in Ulconum producing 0.20 base tax. Almost no resource even produces a number as low as 0.20 when you sell it off. So this is just wasted money that I'm not taking advantage of. And yes, while they're in here, the things, the buildings, the modifiers here in the cities that do affect tax rate are going to affect the better tax production of the slaves. Slaves do produce better tax than your freemen. However, ultimately, what I've realized is the bigger purpose of freemen in cities is actually more the manpower. And so what I've done is I've recalibrated in my brain the order of priority for the buildings in my cities. The new way I'm looking at it is that provincial capital cities, which is almost all of my cities except Wernham, and within the next couple episodes, a couple more non-capital cities I am planning out because I have not built cities in really good non-capital or non-provincial capital locations that I have been neglecting. We'll get to that later. In your provincial capitals, and especially in your capital in Londinium, you're going to want to have your 3 academies. You're going to want to have maximum nobles. Nobles are producing a lot of research, and the thing with research and with innovations, even though it seems to be a big money sink, and like what do innovations really do, what they really are doing is they're giving us lots and lots of commerce income and adding lots of like small bonuses over time, things like the extra capital root import, especially here in the commerce tree. The research bonuses will translate into commerce income directly through this and through lots of other bonuses. Just like I can't begin to explain this tech system is so sprawling. There are so many technologies, and I don't think the game is balanced to let you get most of them in one playthrough. But if I am more careful with my research efficiency and I am getting lots of noble happiness, lots of citizen happiness, I can really boost this quite a bit as I just have so many integrated culture pops here in my nation, as this tooltip does note. the integrated culture pops does affect the research efficiency. So my big focus on cultural integration throughout this series does indirectly actually strengthen my researching, and that's something I need to really lean into and take full advantage of. And what that entails is your maximum 3 academies in every provincial capital and eventually in every city. That is maybe a bit overkill in your cities like, Banawenta. How many nobles are here? Just 2 nobles. They could still be happier. They could still produce more research points for me. I need to not neglect them. 2 nobles over here, they still need their academies because that will grow the number of nobles who do live there. And the nobles, if I take a look here, for example, let's head over to Londinium as an example. Let's look at the pop info and take a look at the nobles. So let's see here. How do I see the emergence of nobles? So here's a noble demoted to a citizen. And why is that? It's because the number of citizens in Londinium is so low. And this is another thing I wanted to comment on. Londinium has very few citizens. It only has 1 citizen. A noble is being demoted to a citizen, even though the nobles aren't at their cap, because the citizen number to cap ratio is so abysmal. I need more citizens. That's a serious problem. I need more freemen to promote to citizens. Yes, it does mean losing out on the base tax, but I don't care about the base tax. I want the research and the manpower. I have a freeman-heavy nation. I need more citizens. They're better for me than freemen at this point in the game. Like, I essentially don't need any tax production in my cities at all, or frankly, anywhere at all. This is another thing I've realized in between episodes, looking over my economic situation. I actually don't really need a tax base. Last episode, I was saying all sorts of crazy things about the importance of a stable tax base because of the volatility of trade. That's true. It is nice to have some level of base tax production. But my trade resource producing locations like Wectus are producing base tax just through the slaves being there. I don't need a separate tax base aside from my trade resource production centers. That actually is producing enough tax base for me to be fairly safe. What I need to do is stop playing around and actually invest into what my economy is structured correctly around, which is nobles, citizens, trade goods, research points, and manpower. That's the next thing I want to talk about. So in my cities, my new priority is academies first, and then courts of law for the territory. Provincial loyalty is nice in some instances. In my capital region, obviously not going to matter so much. My capital province, I mean. But what it also does, aside from the really good civ level plus 3%, something I also didn't realize until seeing it on the wiki, every point of civ level, every 1% of civ level is 1% more output as well, allegedly, for your entire settlement. That's enormous. So that output is output of research, it's output of manpower, and I guess to some degree output of taxes, but mostly it's the output of research that I care about, and I guess the manpower helps as well. Plus, citizen happiness, 6% happier citizens likelier to have more citizens, and way likelier to have more citizens from the citizen desired ratio, 10%. That's enormous. 10%? Goodness me. Let's look at this, for example. The optimal ratio is 23% citizens. That can be way better. I don't need any percent slaves here. What's this? 17% based on what? Base and city. Okay, what's this? Capital territory, 4%. Okay, so the city, 30%, but then it's reduced because of the nobles and the freemen. I need more citizens, essentially. So what we're going to do, even if it does reduce the ultimate number of nobles, I'd rather have 1 or 2 less nobles, but 4 or 5 more citizens. Because again, the research rate is lower, but the manpower bonuses from citizens is substantial. So what we're going to do, we're going to build 3 academies and also 3 courts of laws. So instead of tax offices, we're going to build the courts of laws in their place, and it is limited to 3 in any given territory, so these are going to be in the provincial capitals. And then after courts of law, the next thing I'll focus on is actually going to be training camps. Yes, training camps, because the manpower bonuses from those citizens we're going to bring in with those courts of law will add up quite a bit. But this is after the courts of law. So what we're going to do is build this. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a little bit more expensive than the tax offices, but that's okay. We're just going to build 3 here in the capital for now. That's going to leave us with the building spread that we like to see, so that's very good. Now over here in Durwernum, it is already building up to its level 3 port, it looks like, so we're going to leave that alone. That is fine. Yeah, we actually, I guess we could add something to the queue, but we don't have enough money. Next month we will start building more of that stuff, and next up we will build an academy. Yeah, okay, so we'll resume. So that's the situation. So sorry for the long spoken word introduction to this episode, but I basically figured out what I'm doing here with the infrastructure stuff. Okay, so Adiatuanus Calatus died. He was the high priest and the head of the Calatii family. Okay, so who's the new head? Let's just check and see. Claudia head is now Diwikiakis Calatus, who is just some guy. All right. We need a new high priest, of course. We could get another Kalata just for safety purposes, because you're very, very good. You're epileptic, so that does give you more zeal. That's fine. Oh, she's a minor. Okay, I mistook your name. You're actually not a Kalata. You're a Kalata. That's fine. We'll have a minor character. She's fairly old, so I'm not expecting her to stick around in the position hogging it up for too long. Should be fine. Port in Cortoriacum is complete. So like I said a few episodes ago, this navy is actually going to live in Cortoriacum. Perhaps a little over-ambitious to keep my navies on the mainland, but I am going to go for it. Maybe once Duraburnham's level 3 port is done, we may house the navy there. But there doesn't seem to be any sort of naval attrition or capacity mechanic in this game, so I'm safe to just store my 30 boats in Cortoriacum's little dock. I guess that's fine. The fort up in Lugudurum is complete, very good. Now, Lugudurum does not really have much of a population, it's just a slave and a freeman, so nothing too exciting here. Who's this here? This is an Istvayonic. Let's see if we can go ahead and turn this into a colony. That would be ideal. We do have a very, very big slave economy, I should note, as I've noted before. That is quite substantial. Let's see if we can find Istvayonic. Nope. Yeah, it's not dominant. We need a second Istvayonic living in Lugudurum. Someone might eventually move over there, but we'll keep an eye on that. Not a huge priority, though. I'm not too worried. Anyways, so all this looks fine. We are building that fort in Wartaria. And the other thing as well, I should note, I've also reconsidered my plans with Salica. I will actually attack Rodonia next, not right away, because I need to build up my manpower, of course. We're almost to the 10k cap there. That's quite good. Once we build up those citizen ratios, that's going to improve as well. I do want to eventually, of course, take this land, but I am actually going to have Namnetum be my permanent capital here in Namnetia. Now, the reason for this is actually much more strategic than because of the qualities of Namnetum as a location. I'm going to rebuild the port that I did destroy a couple episodes ago. Small cost to pay, no big deal. We'll get the money back pretty quickly. And this will also be turned into a city in the future. The main reason is very similar to why I've chosen to focus on Lugudurum for strategic control of a major river. The River Rhenus, this is at the mouth, it's fortified, it's got a port, a navy can hang out here, and this is a very secure location to control this river. Same thing over here with the River Liger, which of course we saw played a substantial role in the previous war, controlling the mouth of the River Liger, even though we'll eventually control all this land, and it will not be important for us to control this river as a border location. For a while, we are going to have part of the river touch Torquius, which does mean that it will matter that we control the river in the way that I'm trying to do here. So that is the idea there. We are going to have Namnetum be the permanent location. Salica is a good location for the capital for this province, but I do think that ultimately Namnetum does actually make sense because it can't have a port, even though it is on the river. Sometimes these riverside locations can't have ports, but this one can. So we are going to go for it like that. So we'll eventually build a city there. Probably not the next city we'll build, because it is not super high priority. I'm still, by the way, going to build the fort in where Tawia, even though now there'll be a fort in Namnetum. This fort here is just too strategic to not build to control this little south of the Liger exclave. So that's that. All right, so these buildings are coming along just fine. This means loyalty is problematic. This will I hope gradually improve, but I suppose we'll see. Talorc Oconus died. He was a friend of the governor of Caledonia. That's fine. War exhaustion is pretty severe. Yep. Fully aware. Tribal people request migration. A sizable quantity of tribal people resident in the settlement of Scipia Occidentalis, which is in Armorica. Okay, so it's in there. Trinakia. Here it is. So in the forests over here, Scipia Occidentalis. I've requested permission of the local administrative officers to cross the border into land owned by our neighbor, Redonia. The request comes backed up by a generous promise of gold, but our local officials are reluctant to lose such lucrative workers. So there's a number of tribesmen living here. We do have a citizen weirdly living here as well. I could gain about 300 gold, which is to say about, let's see here, 15 months? Am I doing that math right? 10 to 15 months of income, so a year's worth of income, give or take. Or bring them to Matrianakia, in which they'd be tribesmen. They would, well, I guess I'd say they'd fill it out, but there are slaves here. I don't think tribesmen are super necessary in Matrianakia. This will eventually be a city, but I don't need to fill it with tribesmen right now. And I'd be getting local tribesman happiness there, so they'd be pretty mad and pretty unproductive for quite some time. I think I'd rather get the money and just lose them. Yes, this does kind of put this province into danger of depopulation, but we may move some slaves over from Matrianakia to sort of shore it up. So let's do that. In fact, we'll spend some of this money now to move them over. This actually does have a mine in here. Actually, hold on. It actually does have slaves. I just missed them before. So there are slaves here. There's iron here. In fact, actually, let me quickly look here. There's a precious metal location around here somewhere. I'm sure of it. Here it is. The pirate haven of Granona. No mine here, though. Okay. Let's not build a mine there quite yet. We have other more important things to focus on first. Like, here in Olconum, I think my third biggest city after, because Durwarnum is my second biggest, Londinium is my first biggest. Well, Wente Econorm is 26, Olconum is 29. Okay, so Olconum is among the most large cities, which is what I've expected, because I've really fostered a lot here. Yeah, so we've already got everything built out here. Okay, that's fine. In that case, what do we build? Maybe in Canetio? No, it's filled out. What can we build here? Build one more academy, perhaps. Boost more noble happiness. Maybe not the most high priority. Yeah, there's more nobles over here. Let's build... let's see here. Build our 3 academies over here. Yep, looks good. Academy is done in Banawenta. Very good. And Wente Econorm and Durwarnum. Yeah, a lot of buildings are finishing all at the same time. Solid stuff. Sorry for being a little tired and having a bit of a lost voice this episode, but I am proceeding here. Hopefully, even if my commentary is not the most fully aware, my gameplay is totally fine. I suppose we'll see. Alright. Now, how do you feel about me, Brigantia? Still a minus 100. It's such a severe malice, the recently declared war. Alright, let's see. What can improved relations accomplish here? 25. Yeah, not yet. Still can't integrate them. It might be like another 50 years or so. Like maybe when Wisenius is an old man, it'll be time to integrate them. It's already 13. Didn't I arrange a royal tutor for him already? I'm fairly sure I did this. Yeah, I told him bureaucracy. Oh yeah, I guess he finished his studies because it's only for 60 months. Let's resume a bureaucracy. Yeah, becoming bureaucrat. There we go. I don't know if what happened there, but we're resuming it. That's fine. Londinium, great. Let's see how this has affected Londinium. So now, with just one court of law, the one citizen here is thrilled. Look at this. Love to see it. Now we just need more citizens to be this happy. Alright, slave movement thing. Go away. Alright, so we are going to lose the slave. They're going to become a noble in a month. But a noble is becoming... Okay, so a citizen is becoming a noble, and a noble is becoming a citizen. I see. Interesting. That is well, I guess that's upper class politics for you. Alright, what's this? The sheer grandeur of Stonehenge attracts travelers from all over the region. It is not uncommon that they vacation in the area, and that large numbers use this as their destination to revel in the glory of our wonder. Ooh, some good events here. Okay, I like this. This is definitely not worth it, given well, tyranny is okay, actually, to be honest. It's okay. With the aggressive expansion loss is actually pretty good. So, tyranny would be fine. 500 manpower, not super necessary right now. I'm gaining manpower at a pretty nice 90 per month. This will continue to grow, by the way, so let's keep an eye on that. Lose stability? I don't think so. Gain popularity for Icenia. He's already pretty popular. Gain 100 gold, that's nice, but again, that's only a couple months of income. Or the really nice option, gain 5 stability. We're losing stability right now, even though we're only 41. Now, Canetio gains xenophobic ruler. Local pop happiness in Canetio. 1 settlement for 5 stability. I think that's absolutely worth it. We will not let our divine monument be tainted by foreigners. No way. Get out of here. Very good. I'm just looking really quick to see. I wonder if that can have a... we'll see later. Now, port in Nemnedum is complete. Very good. I've also now got a mercenary group living in Nemnedum. Very fun. This is the Alderkian culture. Have I established if I can, I'll establish a colony in Nemnedum as well. Alderkian. Nope. What's the issue? Oh, I need to not have colonial ventures, so I actually can do this in Nemnedum, so that's the right location. When will I lose colonial ventures, though? 20th of January, 32. Alright, that's pretty doable. Nothing too problematic there. What's going on over here? Nothing good. Oh gosh. Alright. Yikes. Oh, you're letting stuff get depopulated, Rome. Ah, don't do that. That's no good. Well, alright. How do you feel about my Carthage? Not a fan. Okay. Aggressive expansion. Yep, that's what I thought. Could boost our relations. I mean, the thing is, although I want to be friendly with Carthage right now, I don't need strong relations right this second for any specific reason, so no reason to spend political influence or money on that. Speaking of money, I could spend money on more things right now, such as building more things, like courts of law. There actually are quite a few citizens up here in Wente Econorm, so I think we will build a court of law up here. I think actually, even though Londinium should have the 3 academies, I don't think I'll build 3 academies in every other city right now. I think last episode I even said that would be a longer term goal. So I think what I'll do is back off that idea and instead build up training camps or courts of law. Should I build 3 courts of law in other cities or just in the capital, though? I think for the other cities, 3 courts of law to boost the citizen desired ratio could be really good. That being said, 1 court of law and then building training camps may make the most sense. Let's build a court of law over here. Yeah. Sorry for all the mind changing when it comes to this stuff, but I'm trying to get this down right, and I've not really had to think about this that carefully before, but I do think I have the right idea now. So the capital should have 3 academies and 3 courts of law for maximum research output. The my other cities, I'm going to start to build training camps ahead of that stuff, so... build 1 training camp up here for now. I guess that's all I can build for now. Here we are in an Omen month, so let's keep an eye on that pretty closely. A scientific breakthrough. One of our researchers, Akissa Welba, thinks she is just about to make a notable scientific breakthrough in the research she is currently working on. All that is needed is some supplies and funds for the next couple of years. To be able to get her hands on some of these, she's personally asked our king, Icenia, if she can be given access to them. His personal wealth, by the way, is 500, so hopefully that's what it asks about. Probably, though, it's going to ask for state wealth, which I don't have right this second. The rest of our researchers would certainly suffer if we were to make this move, but maybe it is worth it after all. So how does this work? I mean, 85% oratory advance progress, that's pretty good. But for 10 years, 35% reduced research rate, I don't think that's worth it. I think if I were to do the math, 35% research points, because I do have a high, or because I have a focus on research points right now in my infrastructure, that the 85% like singular boost doesn't equal more than the reduction from 35%. So let's not do that. Lose loyalty with her. We'll just bribe her. So that's that. I do some political influence. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You get events. What can you do? Singatessa falls ill. Who are you? You're the primary heir. Oh, yeah, you're my sister. That's right. Perhaps if she is wealthy enough, she'll seek treatment on her own. She's fallen ill, all right, if you say so. She's got Mentagra. Herpes? So this 9-year-old has herpes? I guess she's been kissing other youngsters in kindergarten or whatever. 9-year-olds? I don't know what 9-year-olds do. Do they go to kindergarten? I guess they do. I don't know, actually. Wait, hold on. No, kindergarten's for younger kids. I don't know. Also, this is the ancient age, so there's no kindergarten, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, well, that's kind of alarming. That is my primary heir. So, succession crisis? Question mark? It says she still has perfect health, so I guess things are fine. My mother, Karsuna Urkea, doesn't seem to... She seems to have some health problems of her own, so that's no good. Interesting. I like this. This is the barbarian mercenary model. Finally, a different mercenary model than the standard Roman one. Nice to see. Or not the Roman one, but the standard kind of like standard one. I guess I don't know what this is exactly, but it's standard to be sure. All right. Oh, we have 0 citizens in Londinium now. That's not great from all my. What's the deal with this? Why am I so low on citizens? What's going on? I think I need to make some room by moving these slaves. I think that's the issue. I have all these slaves living here, And they're kind of taking up space, so where do they go is the question. What's earthenware selling for these days? Earthenware. Where is earthenware? 35. I don't suppose anything else that's better. Oh, amber. That's right. Ooh, I've not been focusing on this, but I do have amber right here in Wagniakis. Amber sells for a fair bit, I'm fairly sure. I'm almost for certain positive about that. Yep, 50. 15 slaves. We can move 15 slaves in here. Londinium slave. Massive slave ship from Londinium is about to come on the way. Alright, that's her second amber. I guess now with 2 amber, we could get the bonus with monthly ruler pop gain, which is quite good. Plus citizen happiness, extra 4% from that is nice as well. But I'd rather trade it to make more money. And now, Wagnus. Let me... Oh, also at the pop cap now. Let me tell you a thing or two about slave promotion. Don't you think about it. No slaves promotion. No slaves are allowed to promote. There we go. That's what I tried to say. Alright. Now, I know my gross expansion is pretty bad, but hey, world. I've got some amber, and you know what amber is. It's free money. Come on, Germans. I've been so good to you. Trade for my amber. Give me the big bucks. Please. I guess in the meantime, I'll get this bonus, so it's not the worst thing to not trade it, but I would like to trade it for money reasons. I guess at the turn of the month, we'll see what happens with that. Nothing. It's actually kind of quite something. Alright, this is pretty bad. What do I do here? I should probably be building these courts of laws over here, where I actually need more province loyalty. That effect of the building is being wasted in my capital province because its loyalty is capped. But, what can you do? It is what it is. Okay, now hopefully the citizen ratio will change. There must be some way for me to see. Incoming migration. Slaves are being migrated to Londinium. Why? Why are slaves coming over? How about anyone who's not a slave? Do I have any citizens coming over? It's all slaves and freemen, and 1 tribesman. A druidic Meridian tribesman of all things. Where are my citizens? Oh my gosh, please. Please, game. Oh my gosh, what is this? Scroll bar madness. Look at this. I can't... Why is the scroll bar of all things not... What is this UI? I swear. Okay, so no citizens coming over. That's great. It's lovely. It's lovely. How about growth? No, we have a slave growing. Why? Okay, I guess citizens are just... There just aren't any citizens in my nation. Like, where are they? Someone please tell me where my citizens are. I don't know. Is there a map mode I can look at for this? Surely there is, right? All right, let's plug our nose and go into the map mode thing here. Population. This is not going to help me at all, I feel. I just don't understand. All right, well, whatever. We've made our investments. Londinium will eventually have good citizen output because of its crazy citizen support. Oh, it also... Okay, yeah. That's right. It also just lost a building slot because I reduced the population a bunch. Oh, finally we have a citizen. Fully happy citizen as well. That's what I wanted to see. So we have a very well-supported citizen. Very good. Maybe now there's going to be... See, like, where did that citizen even come from, though? That's the question. They've just appeared. Very strange. Yeah, they're all in Banawenta. Why aren't you in the capital? Okay, whatever. Also, look at our manpower. We continue to get better. We just, in the last couple months, experienced a 10% boost to our manpower from 90 to almost 100. That's substantial. They want base metals? What? Well, okay. I think this was a trade I was doing before that's now having to be renewed for some reason. That's fine, but a little bizarre. Don't know what to make of that. Anyways, let's keep an eye on the 30th of October. Be very careful here. Hopefully my voice has been audible this episode. I know I'm very low energy this time around, but it is what it is. We're almost to the end of the episode, so what can you do? We proceed. I like that maximum. That's quite good. Big fan of that. Alright, 1 month to go. And there it is. Whew, every time. It's a little stressful, but I always manage to do it. Okay, so Rosmerta is, of course, the standard. However, I think this moment does call for, well, Colas would be nice for that aggressive expansion change, or we could do the opposite of picking Colas and actually switch Colas to someone else. Given the fact that I would rather, since Rosmerta is such a good option for our, because again, our strategy that we've had, our sort of tactic of a very integrated nation, which produces a lot of manpower, large armies, Rosmerta becomes more and more proportionately powerful. And if Rosmerta is being picked every time, I don't want to have an option that's only good when picked, which is Kikolas. I'd rather switch it to something where the passive modifier is actually always good, and the active thing, which in this case the active thing is really good, but the passive thing doesn't affect us at all. And we're not going to have legions for quite some time. So Kikolas, maybe time for them to switch. I'm going to pick Rosmerta this time as well, I think. But Kikolas can be switched. Switching, if I were to click this guy for, I'm not going to click this guy, but 15, take us to 30. That's doable. Is it doable? Yeah, I think it is, because once we're at 30, the stability drift will be a lot stronger, so I think it should even out. So let's go ahead and switch while we're looking at this. Now, it should be noted that, what does this actually say? Manpower recovery speed. Oh, that's the invocation one. We could switch things around, so we do Andraste here, which provides the manpower recovery speed, and the passive effect is also good. And then we have Rosmerta be replaced, because this would effectively replace Rosmerta with a better option. Though pop growth is also pretty good, to be honest. In terms of passive effects, discipline is pretty good. Pop capacity is pretty good, honestly. Reinforcement speed is good. I guess now the question is, okay, well, if we switch to Andraste, who I think we did have in the past, we'd also want to switch Rosmerta, because then we'd have our active manpower recovery option, and then what would Rosmerta become? I mean, honestly, I think the issue is ultimately that there's no better option in the fertility section than Rosmerta. And since the fertility god has less good options, I'd rather keep Rosmerta and switch Kikolas, because there are better deity of war alternatives. So in terms of a passive modifier, discipline, obviously that's pretty good. Military experience, I don't think that one's important enough to replace anything else. I mean, honestly, Andraste might be fine because of morale of armies, but I wouldn't want someone where the omen effect is just a copy of Rosmerta. Ideally, pop capacity is pretty good. Honestly, reinforcement speed might be a pretty good option, because the discipline omen effect could be interesting to use in a pinch. Or we could do war score cost. Although this would have to be planned out pretty carefully to really take advantage of war score cost. Alternatively, we go for the passive discipline and the omen fort defense. I don't know if I'd ever really use the omen fort defense, but passive discipline is pretty good with Tyrannus. God, there's actually a lot of... this is kind of a tough choice. I guess the ultimate issue is, like, Lugus, I'm always using the national commerce income. Maponos, I'm always gaining that civilization change. I really do like Andraste, so is there any way I can justify changing Rosemerta? Pop capacity, tribesman happiness. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Coentina with the stab change, that's actually pretty good. The 0.5, that's a good omen. But the passive effect isn't very strong for me. Now, I do actually have some number of tribesmen living in my nation still. I have 100 tribesmen, but that's shrinking every day. And the passive modifier affecting them, it's not gonna, not gonna be super important. So, until I am able to get other gods into my pantheon, which I'm not, given the state of religion in this part of the world, I'm not really likely to. I guess there is Tuistic religion over here in Lugadurum, so maybe I can snag some other gods somehow, but it doesn't seem super likely right now. Because having stab change as an omen for 5-year periods could be good, but I don't think it's better than Rosemerta. That's the ultimate issue. I think we'll keep Rosemerta. I'm also going to select Rosemerta. And then I am going to switch Kikolas, I think, to something else. Because I'm not likely to select Kikolas, and so I need to switch it to something with a better passive modifier if I'm going to keep picking Rosemerta, which I think I will. And I think of these options... let's see. Reinforcement speed. Honestly, pop capacity is pretty good. I mean, morale of armies, though. I think because of my kind of bad victory ratios, where I lose a lot of forces even though I win the fight, I think discipline might be important to prop up here. So let's actually switch over to Tyrannus. I'm not likely to ever pick this omen, so the fort defense thing doesn't really matter. 3% passive discipline is good to have in the background as just something that I'm getting. Because again, I'm not ever picking Kikolas, so the Legion maintenance cost is kind of being wasted up there. Switch to Tyrannus for the discipline. Yeah, so as I thought, our stability is actually now trending positive. That's fine. All right. All right, actually, this is a good place to end the episode. So, thank you so much for watching. Sorry for a slightly lower key and sort of sleepier commentary than maybe the last couple episodes, but here we are. We've done some good change, and we've got our infrastructure building projects essentially almost complete. We actually do have some more money we can invest once again. Do I invest that now? I guess I could. Where do I invest that? Well, I could invest a court of law into a wordum, I think. So yeah, so we've shifted, our building projects have continued, but we have shifted the focus from tax to citizens and nobles and to the research that they produce, and I think I've done a good job at explaining my reasoning for that. So thank you so much for watching. Next time, we're going to continue to rebuild our manpower. We're on track right now to rebuild it in a couple of years, and then the warfare will resume already. It's pretty wild, but that's what we can do with our crazy, super good infrastructure that we have micromanaged successfully throughout this entire series. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.